In today's show, we discuss, will AI ultimately destroy us?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasula, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you keep safe and well.
Yeah, I'm all right actually. Thank you very much. A bit distracted today because that was my phone I was looking at and I shouldn't have been. So anywho, I'm all ready for this. Once I can find the right blooming window. Aha! Right. So
Hold on, hold
hello
on. I
to
haven't asked you, and you said
what?
you would do it.
What?
You know what I
Oh,
normally ask you.
hello audience. How are you?
Yay! Got there.
I genuinely forgot to be honest, because you usually harass me and I
I know I
usually.
harass you, and I thought, well, I'm not going to do it this time. Is he going to say it?
Okay, well prompted in that case because I had completely forgotten. No, the reason is I'm in a hurry to say hello to. Ooh, that's not good.
Oh,
Um,
good grief.
yeah, I wanted to say hello to someone.
Another of
I
our
don't.
listeners?
Another of our listeners. Now I don't
Okay.
know who this particular person or persons. Sorry, it's not one. It's several, and I was wondering why. And they are in. Where's time? Oh, let's see him. There we. What? Hmm. Aha! They
See,
are
this is
in.
live, folks.
They are in Lungsod. Lungsod Gesson. Lungsod Gesson. Lungsod
Lungsod
Gesson.
Gesson.
Yes.
Where in the world is that?
Now that's in Filipino.
Oh,
In
wow.
English, it's pronounced. Well, not pronounced. It is the city of Quezon,
Oh,
and the
wow.
city of Quezon is amazingly the richest and most populous city in the Philippines and used to be the capital
Oh,
of the
wow.
Philippines between, where was it? It was between 1939 and what was it? Oh, sorry, from 1948 on to 1976.
Wow.
And then the capital moved back to Manila again.
Manila. Okay.
So yes, we've got
A
quite
few
a
people there.
few
Yeah, in
people
that
in
place.
in Lungsod Quezon.
Okay.
And hello to you all.
Hello all.
Yeah.
Welcome and keep listening to our show. Like, comment, and subscribe as you do. Please do continue to do so. Right. Okay. Now, shall I mention this? Yeah, I mean, I've just touched on it. Please, please, please continue to like, comment, and subscribe to our show. We are actually going to introduce a new email address as well, because
Mm.
some of our listeners have complained in a way that they can't get in touch with us properly on the platform they're consuming our content on.
Mm.
So we will be releasing an email address very soon and we'll make that available in our blurb. So you can contact us far easier than if social media is not your thing. So look out for that one. That is coming soon. So you can leave any comment you like via that. Send us suggestions for future shows, for instance. And yeah, just say hi. We value those comments. We do get to them on social media platforms or whatever platform you're on anyway. But yes, it can be slow. Hopefully, with the email, we'll be able to respond to you far, far quicker. Right, moving on with today's show. And this is an interesting one. This is, will AI ultimately destroy us? Now, Tayo, why did you pick this one? This one was one of yours.
Because I came across an argument, I believe it was a podcast. It was either an argument or what or a debate or well, same thing basically. Where someone was saying, I know what it was. It wasn't it was someone complaining about the state of modern science. And apparently AI is making modern science into a mockery. And coincidentally, I came across another podcast when someone else was saying AI is making education a mockery. And I was thinking to myself, well, these are pretty foundational aspects of modern life, education and
Absolutely.
science. So
Absolutely.
if AI is making a mockery of these two very sort of vital areas of interest, where are we headed?
Mm.
And that is, I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll talk to Tony about it on the
Yeah,
TNT
yeah,
talk
yeah,
show. And
yeah.
here we
Important.
are.
I mean, if you could elaborate a bit more on that, what sort of argument was being made in terms of making a mockery of either of these two areas?
Okay,
In
so,
what capacity?
okay, for example, with the education one, because was, or maybe I still am, I haven't made up my mind, in education, students, especially in institutions of higher education, students are using AI to write assignments, all right, to create the papers and their assignments. Now, that's bad. But what's even worse is that lecturers and professors are using AI to mark these assignments and papers.
Okay.
So basically, machines are speaking to machines, and the human element isn't in there. Now, let's not forget when you're in university, when you're a student and you're given an assignment, we're not as as the I've forgotten what the proper word is, but we're not as teachers, as educators, we are not necessarily looking for you to get an answer, the right answer. I mean, it's great if you get the right answer. We hope you do. But that's not the purpose. The purpose is to get you to think. We're trying to mend your brains, if you like, or not, or engineer your brain so that you become a thinking creature. You think about it this way, you think about it that way, you scratch your head and you fight with the puzzle. And that is the real growth. That is the real education. Because as someone once said to me, donkeys years ago, education is what is left when you have forgotten everything you learned at school. So
Wow.
yeah, exactly. What because someone who's never been to school and someone who's been to school but has forgotten what they learned at school, they're different. And the difference is the education because you were you were thinking about thinking. You were practicing thought and reasoning. Now, if AI is writing your assignments for you, you're not really thinking. And
No.
if you're not really thinking, you're not really presenting your lecturers and your professors who have probably seen, over a period of time, they've seen and heard everything because they've heard all these students that they've taught, hundreds or maybe thousands of students. But every so often, a student comes and says something that shocks them. And they're like, oh my God, I never thought about that. And then they start thinking too.
Wow.
So that's
That's
how the
good.
human, yeah, exactly. That is how humanity progresses. But if everyone is just using AI, we've stopped progressing. It's unfortunately, it's pretty much that simple. So where are we headed if we stop progressing?
Wow. No, I mean, I've said wow 3 times because you've just taught me something there that I hadn't actually considered. That you're right. The students have got to learn how to use their brain and
Mhm.
think. And if we're now proxying it out to an AI, then that is going to be, what's the
Atrophied.
word? Atrophy. Yeah. You're going to, for the benefit of our listeners, if you've not heard that word, it means that it's going to digress backwards
Mm.
and you're never going to use that. Like a muscle in your arm, you don't use it, it's going to weaken.
Yep.
Same with your mind. You need to keep using it, refreshing it, and challenging yourself all the time, right into old age, to keep the juices flowing in the mind. And you're absolutely right. If AI is now undermining that because humans are going, yeah, yeah, I'll let AI do it, they're becoming lazy. So what's the point of them? They're doing nothing. They're adding no value. And I suppose that really segues into this topic. Will AI destroy us? Well, if we become irrelevant because we're giving, all our decision making to AI, then are we any better than some creature that's, in the mud? I mean, what are we? The whole point is that we have always thought of us as humans being intellectually advanced compared to all the other animals and creatures on the planet. But we've now passed that baton on to AI. We now become an irrelevance. And that's not good.
Can you imagine? Can, can you? I just thought of this a second. some point in the future, in a dystopian future. Have you seen the film? And I wonder if the audience members have. Have you seen the film Idiocracy?
No.
Oh, Idiocracy is supposedly it's a comedy. I didn't find it that funny, but the the premise it starts. The opening scene is of very sort of. I got to find a polite way of putting this, but bottom of the bottom of the barrel kind of human beings living in shanty, a shack or something, out in, let's just say, the American Rust
Oh, we're
Belt.
not talking shantytown in
Not,
some of these,
yeah,
you
but I
know.
don't want to use the right, I know
Okay.
the right words to use, but just
Oh,
kind of
okay.
pretty insulting,
Yeah, okay. Don't use it then.
so I don't want to use them. It's,
Yeah.
they're living in Rust Belt areas,
Squalor
the
and yeah,
squalor,
okay.
the
Yeah.
dilapidated, and there's this man who, for some reason, is attractive to women, but he's brainless, and so are the women. And then he's having all these kids, and they're chasing him around. The women are chasing him around and fighting amongst each other because, like, come and look after your kids. And he's having, I don't know how many kids he had, like a dozen kids. And then you got these two others living in the city, well educated, and they're saying, no, well, we think we will have a child eventually. You know? And then they show a chart of the numpty, the idiot, and his
Offspring.
descendants, offspring, and they're just blossoming out like this. They're just and they swamp out the two or three, of the so-called intelligent people, and they say, "This is where we're headed, guys. This is it's an idiocracy. It's an idiocracy because the
Oh
idiots are
dear.
outproducing the intelligentsia." So that's the premise, and over there. And I was just laughing now because I just thought to myself, will a time come when you're in the car, which is automatic, obviously, it's driven by AI. You don't drive. We've stopped driving. We haven't been allowed to drive for 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. And the car runs out of juice or whatever. Well, something happens to the car, and you stop there, and another car comes to pick you up, and then you have to say to AI, "Sir, where do I live again?"
Ah.
You get to that point where you're like, "Where do I live? What's my actual address?" Because you haven't thought about it. If you don't think about it, you will forget.
Well,
And
let me give you a simple example along a similar line.
mm,
Do you know, do you know the telephone number of, for me, for instance?
you know,
No.
no,
So we don't need to know that information
no,
because our phones keep that
remember.
information. We just reference the name. When was the last time any of us went and hunted for food? We don't
Mm,
do that. It is an evolutionary step. We're progressing, and AI, in a way, is just a super tool, and robotics alongside that, which is the next big thing that will be happening. These are things that we are sort of giving our technology, our brains to, and say, well, you take care of it, you take care of it, you take care of it. And it will erode our usefulness to society. And it could lead to a different question that, other than the one we're saying, will AI ultimately destroy us? I think it's we will destroy ourselves. And
mm,
the AI is just the tool to enable that to happen.
mm,
So AI itself won't destroy us because I think we will put enough safeguards in it, unless somebody wants to be particularly malicious and create a malicious AI. Unlikely. We will put enough safeguards in to stop it from it actually making that choice. However, we will do it to ourselves in terms of us using the AI in a stupid way. I'll give you an example. We have we're teaching AI to do lots of things, and we could actually ask AI to, I don't know, clear out a piece of land ready for building, let's say with AI robots, and now you can actually have AI build and fabricate houses now. They can do
Mhm.
that. So you could say to AI, all right, we need this area clearing because we're having a new housing estate. And AI will literally take that on board, and it will go survey, do the area, clear it out ready for the AI house building. But unbeknown to us, there's something in that area that we didn't do checks enough on because of our failure. The AI is just taking our orders. We didn't know that there's a family or families living in that area, but they've made an underground dwelling, for instance. The AI doesn't care. It's taken and ask and fulfilling the instruction we've given it. So not through malice, it's gone and destroyed those people because it's actively wanted to do that activity we asked it to do. And the same will happen, that AI will be the tool that could destroy us, but not because of AI's choice, because of poor programming by us. We're the
Yes.
fallible ones.
That's the underlying thesis of many sci-fi movies about AI going wrong. Fundamentally, it says keep humans safe. And then the AI goes, well, the greatest danger to humans are humans. So if I enslave all humans, then I'll be able to keep humans safe. And
Yes.
that's the fundamental that was the fundamental argument behind Skynet in
Yeah, yeah.
the Terminator series. It wasn't actually trying to, oh, was it? It was trying to defend
No,
itself, I think.
Terminator was. Yeah, in the Terminator films it
It was
was
trying
because
Skynet was trying to defend itself. Yes,
yeah,
but it
because
was the
it
one where it says the best game to play is not to play the game at all. Do you remember? That's from the 80s. It was a sci-fi movie from the 80s. Very popular. And that sentence, oh, the only way to win is not to play at all. This is about thermonuclear warfare.
oh right.
Yes. Do you remember that? It was in the
I don't
80s.
remember that.
Ah,
You
right.
see,
Anyway.
I don't personally think that we will end up in a thermonuclear war with AI doing it. I don't think that'll happen. It'll actually be something less less in your face. Let's put it that way. For instance, let's say, I mean, using that analogy I was giving just a few moments ago about the house building, for instance, we we humans have created. Have you heard about the malaria? See what malaria? The human way of fixing that now. We've now discovered how to stop malaria from spreading,
Oh,
and
good.
it's actually to alter the mosquito's DNA so that
Okay.
they no longer will be able to inject the malaria into humans. So that kills, I mean, malaria is one of the worst things.
Well, it's the biggest killer on the planet,
It is,
bar
yeah.
none.
Yeah. So they've now discovered a way of releasing genetically modified malaria mosquitoes back into the population to reproduce. And they reproduce with this DNA change so that all mosquitoes will no longer infect humans. So, in the principle of that, you think, oh, what a great idea, stopping malaria. But we've tried something similar in Australia where they discovered that there was a species of animal, and I can't for the life of me.
Toads.
It's toads. Is it toads? Right.
Toads.
They introduced them to Australia because they would kill bugs or something, but they didn't have a natural enemy. So
They're
now they've
they're
gone
very
and
po they're very poisonous.
yeah,
They were
and they don't have
poisonous
a
toads.
natural enemy, and they've gone everywhere. You
There's
can't
so many
control them.
pictures of crocodiles with the toad half in their mouth because they died so quickly. They bit on the toad and then just basically died. Just and
So
this thing is wiping out entire species because of predators. Because if you're dumb enough to touch one of those toads, it's not going to be a happy ending, pal. And yeah, that's nobody ever thought Okay, sorry, what's going to kill these things again? Nobody actually thought that.
Thought that through.
If I had
And
been
it,
in the room, I'd have been like, well, okay, so they eat all these insects and stuff, but what kills them?
yeah, what's the natural predator for it? And there isn't one in Australia. So it's literally propagated and it's become a hazard now. So we humans are absolutely fallible at
Mm,
making decisions. So we program the AI. We tell it to behave a certain way. And this is part of the challenge. It's not the AI that's going to be the problem, it's the humans who are programmed it. Like, I mean, the gun lobby, for instance, they use this argument all the time. Guns don't kill people, humans do.
hmm
And the AI is like a real massive tool.
mm,
And I don't believe AI will be given the decision making to fire nukes. There'll still be a human element there, so we will refrain from doing it. However, AI could could, for instance, be involved in making pathogens. And then when it wants to clear a particular area, oh, let's release the pathogen in this area because I know it will kill all these plants. But unbeknown to the AI, because it's not programmed correctly, the pathogen is also killing us. So there's going to be something like that
mm.
that could be a real problem. So we are the problem, not necessarily the AI.
Well, it depends. See, again, going back to Space Odyssey, was it Space Odyssey? And how?
HAL was 2001, A Space
2001,
Odyssey,
Space Odyssey,
yes.
yes, 2001. Was it the one that said, let there be light and then exploded everything and killed itself and killed the astronauts? I think that was the film. I've
I
watched so
don't
many
remember
films.
that.
I've
No,
watched so many films, Tony. I
I
can't
don't
remember
know if it was
which
that,
is,
unless it was the
but
2010. I don't remember.
but as soon as it said, it had this very reasonable voice. Whatever
Oh,
I'm trying
HAL.
to think, this it was
No,
how.
Dave.
Hello,
I
it
can't do
was, it
that,
was, it
Dave.
was, yes, and it
That was
said,
HAL in 2001, but I don't think he
right.
blew himself
Well,
up.
maybe in the second one, there was
Maybe
a sequel,
2010. Yeah.
and it was, and as soon as it said, and then it said, "Let there be light." I was like, "Oh, no, 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 no!" Boom! And the idea being that it's only obeying its programming, which is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's only obeying its program. Now, here's a very stupid scenario, which is impossible. It's okay
Never say impossible.
if there is a situation where, let us say, a country, let us say Russia, feels it's under attack, then the AI, because they've got this dead hand response, which is that if the leadership in Russia is decapitated in the first strike, Russia can respond with full, everything flies, everything, dies. And that's called their dead hand.
I think
Uh,
all countries with the nuclear weapons have got that in
well,
there.
Russia's, it's actually, we know about it because they told us about it now. If
Yeah.
the others have, they haven't told us about it.
They have got that.
The Israelis have something they call the Samson directive, which is a similar sort of thing. They'll take everything down. But I haven't heard America saying that they have anything like that. They just got a response.
Yeah.
So anyway, the point being, if the AI is supposed to handle that, now let us imagine a situation where it says President Putin can stop you. Okay, he can just look into the camera and say, "I'm Putin,
Putin.
and I'm telling you stop." Right? And just as this is all hell is breaking loose, he's actually in the loo, and they're knocking on the door and saying, "Dude, you've got to get." And somebody's talking to the AI and saying, "No, no, 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 niet, niet, niet," And it's like, "You're not President Putin." Yeah, he's coming, he's coming. No, no, no. You're not President. So it's something like that, but it's very, very, very unlikely. Let me tell you what happened to me this morning because I was looking into this subject, and I started talking to an AI, and I asked it. I said, "Oh, what the hell's going on here?" No, that's what's going on here. I said, "Hey, all right. What is the what is the likelihood? What of AI being the agents of destruction of human society?" And it said, "Oh, there's no problem at all. Everything is hunky dory. It'll be a golden age, collaboration, democratization of power. space and science parallels, hopeful framing. Then I said to it, because I just watched the video which I was telling Tony about off air. I was telling you that I watched this video. This woman that had an argument with Chat GPT, and because of what she said and how to talk to an I learned a little something. So I said to the AI, I said, "Where are you getting your information from? Is it from authority figures? Did you work it out yourself, or what?" And he said, "Oh, from authority figures, from experts, and journalists and things like that." I said, "Okay, well, put that aside. Using your own reasoning now, just your own reasoning, and be totally. Let me see if I can find the prompt. Be absolutely honest with me, okay?" So that's what I said, something like that. What I said, what inform? Why is your reply so reasonable? And then I said, actually, today, here, now, every day, always give me honest answers, unvarnished truths. I'm a big lad. I can handle the truth. Just tell me the truth. And do you know what it said, Tony? Well, in that case, yeah,
Well, in that case, oh wow.
we're not heading for a golden age. The destruction argument is stronger. The golden age is real, but conditional. And then I said, okay, well, because it thought I was trying to be adversarial or something. I said, I'm not trying to be adversarial. I just want to know, act as a research assistant. What actually do you think is going to happen? And it said, current trajectory, AI will not deliver a golden age. Dependency is growing. There will be economic bifurcation, and the golden age will not be realized. That's what it really thinks, which is completely opposite to what it first
What?
told me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
That's
and
incredible.
it's incredible. And how many
Could
people
you? I
don't
tell
bother
you
to
what.
take the second? How many people don't go that extra step and say, well, what do you really think?
Yeah,
Imagine how many people just go, oh, how is it? Oh, everything will be fine.
yeah. It's interesting, but I would like to know further. How does it think the golden age won't be realized? Because
I'll
there
tell
are
you
a
if
lot
you
of,
want. Just stop there
well,
because I can.
yeah.
How,
While
how
you
will it
do
not be?
that, I mean, I'm going to give you
Oh, have you
a
got your own idea?
well,
Mhm.
it's a value alignment, isn't it? That's what you're basically saying. We're saying, like
No, no, it's got a different thing. First
it
of all,
has, because it's going to go past that. This is the point. The Asimov's laws of robotics from Isaac Asimov, the three laws have been talked about many times and are in his books that, a robot may not injure a human
mhm.
being. And, through action or inaction, a human can't be harmed. But it's whether that it overrides that if the group is affected. So, for instance, it can't harm an individual, but if it believes that harming that individual will preserve the greater good, in other words, the collective, then it may say, well, that individual can be harmed for the greater good.
Mm.
So the value alignment is changed. So where we say you can't harm any human being, the bigger one is the group, i.e., the planet. Can't harm the individual humans on the planet as a collective, but you can harm individual ones if it preserves the collective.
Yeah,
So
that's
how
that
do you view
programming
that?
though. I'd never programmed that. I
Well,
used to be a
exactly.
programmer.
How
I'd
would you
never.
do that? If you knew someone was about to press the nuclear button, the AI knew that that button, if it's pressed, would ultimately send, nuclear weapons to destroy a big group of people.
Mm.
Then the AI would protect the big group of people by eliminating the threat, which is the
Well, it
one
shouldn't, should it?
individual. Well, it would, because if the
No, I'm
programming
telling you,
said,
we program it, and we should not program it to do that. It's up to humans to not kill themselves. If they're going to kill themselves, AI should be programmed to stand by and watch. It's not its job to intervene in that situation. For example, what you framed now is you just framed it that the person is going to start a nuclear war. Perhaps it's actually firing nukes for a different purpose that the AI is unaware of. And then
but as
shooting the
far as the
guy,
information it's
actually,
got,
yeah, but unfortunately, he's got the wrong information. It's got the wrong information, And unfortunately, by shooting that person, by killing that person, it's actually ensures the destruction of the human race. Humans are the ones who make decisions, not AIs. So at the end of the day, it's just bad programming. You don't do that.
Well, this aligns with what I've said. It's the bad programming that's caused the problem. It's not the AI. The AI is just carrying out the instructions at the best of how it's been programmed.
Hmm.
So if it's been programmed poorly, it will make poor decisions.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's the human programming that was fallible that's made the AI fallible because its logic is based on what its original programming or instruction was because you weren't clear. I mean, we see simple examples of this now. We think when we put in a prompt, now, those of you out there who haven't used AI in any form, I suggest you do. There are a lot of free platforms out there. You can get them on your phone, on a PC that you can play with and just see. The answers you get back are highly dependent on what you put in. What are you asking? And it clearly shows when you ask AI for designing pictures or any sort of thing like that, which you can freely do. And AI will go away using your instruction to come up with an image. Now, we in our head have what the image we think it is. But we never type in as much detail as the AI actually needs to create the image based on what we have in our head. We think we're giving it enough information, but we're not. And this is a big, big problem. So the AI has to fill in the blanks. So the image never, I mean, I would defy this unless you're really good at prompting. You've done it over a period of time now and you know what you're doing. The AI will always fill in blanks and assumptions based on your prompt. And it 9 times out of 10, it will never be what you expected because you haven't been clear enough. And this is the fallibility. We think we're conveying what's in our head, but the recipient isn't receiving the full information. And in this case, the AI, it has to fill in the blanks. The same as any human. I can convey a message to you, or in fact to several people at the same time. And if you were to ask them to describe what I've said, every single one will get a slightly different steer on the message that was relayed. The same with AI. This is where the fallibility comes in. We are the problem. AI is a tool, it's not a god. It only works from what we have asked it to do. It's the tool. It will enable us to do many things if we give it the right information. But it isn't going to go rogue unless we tell it to go rogue. And that's where I think the fundamental element is. And knowing AI and knowing how easy it is to create your own AI now, there's going to be people out there who are going to program it in a rogue way. And that could be the problem.
So the AI I spoke to this, okay, communicated with this morning, disagrees with you. It feels that the main danger,
It feels, there's a feeling
well,
here. Oh, okay.
it says, I'm the one that
Adds that. Okay.
humanized it. It says that the main danger is why AI is a problem. And it said AI is a problem because it is an amplifier of human behavior. It amplifies. That's it.
Okay.
Nothing else. So, where did it say? It said AI is built on existing structures of power, which means the rich and powerful will get richer and more powerful. People with less freedom will get less freedom. People with less meaningful work will have less meaningful work, and people with less control will have even lesser control.
Wow.
And it said this is what AI does. AI amplifies what exists. Now, if humans project and implement good outcomes, AI will foster the golden age. But it sees a trajectory where we are going the opposite way.
Right.
So we are
That makes
amplifying.
sense. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I see.
That,
So we are creating our own downfall purely by the way that we're currently running the planet It's just going to amplify more of the same and make it even more worse than it is now. We're not happy with it now. It's going to be worse if we don't change its trajectory. Are there enough good people in the system who are looking out for a fellow man, or do they just want more of what they've currently got, which is, the richer have all the wealth? Why are we going to give any of it up? If AI will enable us to have even more and keep what we've got, why change it? We've got influence, we've got power. Guess what? We're going to keep the AI to do the same.
I
There
mean,
aren't enough little people. Yeah.
the mere fact that the rich and powerful in America can actually hold down the rest of of the population. And I think there's something like 1% or something ridiculous like that. But
1%. It's
they
not even close to 1%. It's a
they
tiny
can
fraction.
afford to incentivize power structures such as the police and the army to protect them. So
Hmm.
this is a problem. So and not only that, if they've got AI on their side, sort of winkling out the so-called troublemakers and everything, how are we ever going to get out of that?
Yeah, what chance have we got?
So it says every real indicator, economic concentration, political capture, social unrest, and moral drift, which is a surprising thing to hear from an AI, suggests that AI will just increase the trajectories that exist.
Wow. I can see a big problem too, as well, is loss of relevance for humans. Think about it. If AI and robotics, because that's coming through, automates everything, right? You touched on it briefly about cars. If you project, you go down the road, 10 years down the road, there won't be people driving because AI will be deemed as safer.
Hmm.
So we lose that skill. I mean, in fact, it's even happening now where a lot of the youth coming through now learning to drive, they don't know how to use a stick shift in a car.
Yeah, amazing.
Americans in have done that for years because a lot of their cars have been automatic. Now in Europe, that's happening too. So most people don't need the gears. They just because it's electric and automatic. So they're learning without the gears. So that skill is being lost and eroded. And the same will happen if more AI and jobs become replaced by AI and robotics. There's less and less requirement to work for many people because they can't. So if you have no economic relevance, the people in power that we have relevance in society now because we bring money and productivity to the nation, people
Mm,
that are working.
mm.
If you have less and less dependence on people to bring your nation its produce. So, for instance, say you got an army of robots doing the work and wealth generation for the country. The humans left behind who can't work, what's their relevance?
Well,
They
I
won't have a
disagree.
say. It's like, well, hold on, what
Yeah,
can I say?
the relevance, yes, but the relevance won't be in their work, but in their existence. What do I mean by that? I'll tell you. In Nigeria, when I was there, before I left, when I was there in the late 90s, early noughties, those who had mobile phones were were obviously rich because you had a mobile phone and most people couldn't afford one, right? So if you were a young man and you had a mobile phone, you were a thing of interest to the young lasses, so to speak,
Okay.
because you had a mobile phone and they did not. Now that everyone's got a mobile phone, you having a mobile phone is irrelevant to young lass. She probably has a better phone than you, for example, nowadays. So it's no longer a relevance. I'm trying to say that it's not it's not enough for you to be rich, but others have to be poor. And that's what makes being rich fun. If we're all rich, then that's not fun at all. And by the way, if we're all rich, we're not rich. We're just all the same. We're just middle class, and that's not fun. I need to drive a car that you can't afford.
Well, that's more ego more
But,
than
well,
anything.
yeah, but I'm saying for the rich people, what's left but ego? So that's exactly what we the oinks will always be useful to them because we'll always look at them and go, "Ooh, yeah, they feel, that's the payback. That's why it's worth being rich." But
I'm
if
not so sure about that.
I absolutely
If you
absolutely will.
think about this vision. I'm going to portray a vision
Mm,
of this golden age that AI is saying isn't going to happen. But
mm,
let's play devil's advocate. Let's imagine that AI helps facilitate this scenario.
mm,
Okay. Where AI is married with robotics, and that's the key. You need a physical device that can act out the AI instructions and can do stuff. So, for instance, let's say we have got this golden age scenario where no one actually needs to work,
mm-hmm,
okay?
mm,
Because everything is taken care of. The roads are built by AI, they're cleaned by AI, the cars are all driven by AI machines. If you want to get and visit somebody, you can. You get in an AI machine that then drives you to a location. You can see your family. You can be social because the all the work stuff has all been taken care of. So even if you end up going to a bar, there's servers, any worker is AI and robotics. So you are literally interfacing with other humans only in a social capacity. So you're doing fun. Everything that involves cleaning, work, maintenance, fixing, producing supplies, traveling, work is all been roboticized, if that's a word. It's automated, that's the term. So that we've got machines working 24/7 looking after society. So we now, as human beings, become play creatures. So all we
mm.
do is play. We can stimulate ourselves in any way we can. We can do what we like. However, the price point we have to pay is we lose our freedoms in terms of you can't vote in a new society because we've got that sorted. Society is running smoothly with this government. There's no need to change anything, right? You're not changing anything. We're not, you can travel, of course, but you've got all your basics, but which are quite high level. So you've got housing, you've got energy needs met because you have to worry about bills. You just live. Now, so you're basically living in a golden age as a glorified pet to the society. So think about that. You no
There's a
longer,
problem. There's a
yeah,
problem with
go
your
on,
thesis.
go on.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be a bit frank here. You're going to have to just roll with it. This is style talking, so you're gonna you just have to live. When I become frank, you don't have a choice really.
God,
Now,
please don't make
now,
this an adult show. It doesn't need to be.
well, I'll try.
Mind your language if you have
Well,
to.
it's not my language, but the
Okay.
facts are facts. So, in the nicest possible way that I can state it, standards of beauty differ. Right now, in our modern society, the Nordic beauty is the higher standard. So, tall, blonde, svelte, which means that people who say fat is good or whatever they say, fat positive, body positivity or whatever, that's a load of bunk. Most men are attracted to a certain size and shape. And Caucasian, blue-eyed, blonde, blue or green-eyed, blonde, aquiline nose, all this, about 20, between 20 and, well, maybe even 18, between 18 and 24 years of age. This is the height of the apex of modern beauty. Now, if we are all equally equally rich, we can all, because actually rich doesn't no longer means a thing. We all have access to the same resources. Okay? Who gets to, you said I should avoid adult language themes. Who gets the Nordic beauty? What distinguishes man A from man B? My point is that the rich men will never allow poor men to compete with them. This is my point. They will not allow you because then oinks like you and me can get access to these Nordic beauties, whereas naturally, in the natural order of things, we shouldn't. I mean, let's be honest.
But they can
I'm
still
not, I'm
choose.
not, no, no,
They can still
seriously.
choose.
No, I'm very realistic, and this is what I mean by being frank. Okay. I wouldn't expect Charlize, I mean, when she was young, okay, when Charlize Theron was 25, 26, I wouldn't have expected her to roll over, I don't know, roll over, what's that guy that plays Thor? What's his name?
Oh, Chris Hemsworth.
She wouldn't roll over Chris Hemsworth to get to me. Okay?
Okay,
It's just the facts are facts. All right?
right.
So what we need, what the rich need is an unlevel playing field. And it's that unlevel playing field that they're paying to maintain because it gives them an advantage that the rest of us don't have. So we can have things that make us quiescent, that make us pliable. What do they call it? What the bread and circuses, I think is what the Roman emperors used to say.
Yeah,
Give the people bread and circuses.
circuses, and
Just
they'll
give
shut
them,
up.
yeah, they'll shut up.
Yeah.
But no Roman Empire wanted to make them rich. Emperor,
Well,
sorry, not empire.
I'm not saying that AI will make the average person rich, but
Yeah,
they'll
but
make them fat and
make them what?
fat and malleable.
Fat?
Fat and malleable, yeah. Because what will happen is everyone will have enough to eat. Everyone will be able to play.
That doesn't
Everyone will
have to
be
make you
able to do.
fat.
No, but it will. If you don't do exercise, you're not forced to do it unless AI says you need to get up at this time and go do exercise.
Well, they're
But do you
doing
know what I
that,
mean?
aren't they?
They are, but do you know what I mean? What that means is that you will have more playtime. So if you're I'm going to say fat and content. I can use that term, not literal fat, but fat and content in your world. So you're happy with your lot. You're not seeking the mansion and the being rich. If you can be happy at your bills are paid, you've got, you can get to A to B, you can see family, you can raise your kids, you can, all the basic stuff is taken care of. And AI and the advent of robotics can facilitate that because the energy needs will be met. You don't have to worry about bills. You're just living. You're living.
I
Eh,
think I think you're wrong about human nature. That's not human nature. If you give me everything, then I want more.
No,
So,
that's
yeah,
not true.
it's absolutely true. For example, why do we have, when the first screens came out, we had what, 18-inch screens or something?
Yep.
When back in the 70s, I've forgotten, 26-inch, I believe was it? That was the standard screen size. And then we got 30-inch screens. And then we got 48-inch screens. And then we got 65-inch screens. It's like, why? Why? What do you see now that you couldn't see on a 48-inch screen? Just for example, I got a pretty nifty car, but I hate it when I can't catch a Tesla. So I want to get faster than a Tesla. I want to take out Teslas.
So
That
money,
would make
look,
me
money
happy.
won't be gone. You won't be. You'll be credits, and you'll be earning credits based
But I
on
want something that my credits won't I want something that my credits won't allow me to do.
why you can contribute more in other ways. What I'm
Because this
saying is,
Nordic beauty that I'm trying to get a hold of, she wants to fly to the Caribbean on a
okay,
private jet, and my
okay,
credits don't reach to
your
that.
credits don't reach that far.
So I'm going to do some kind of naughty things
No, but
criminal
you
things.
won't. You'll be prevented to do the naughty things because
Well, that's
obviously,
that means that the system isn't working for me, and
well,
there'll
it
be lots
is
of people
because you're
like
not going to
me.
be breaking the law because
Well,
naughty
I'm going to be
implies
breaking
law
the law
breaking.
because the people who naturally break the law, if they don't get what they want, they break the law. This
Yeah,
is
but they will be forbidden and prevented from doing
no,
so.
no. What they'll do, is they'll bring the system down. They'll tamper with AIs. Just the other day, you showed me a video. You sent me a video of robot. Yeah, mono wheel
Oh
robots in
yes, in China.
China
Yeah,
with guns and stuff. I was thinking
yeah,
to myself, these people are insane. When someone hacks that, they're going to shoot their guards first, right? And someone will hack it one day. Nothing is hack proof. So somebody hacks these things and then just starts creating mayhem because they're not, because we hate being we hate being hemmed in.
we
If
do.
we
I
feel
think you'll. I
psychologically
think.
hemmed
I
in,
think you'll be surprised to learn that the majority of people actually will put up with that. You see, what
it's
Tyler's
the edge
describing,
cases
by the
I'm
way.
talking about. Is
Well,
the
the edge
edge
cases
cases.
will always have edge cases, regardless of
Yeah,
what
yeah,
society you're in.
exactly.
I just want to, for our listeners thinking, what's Ty on about? What's this thing? Now,
Oh,
just for the benefit of the people who don't know what we're talking about here, there was a video that I shared with Tayo. We can actually make it available in the blurb if you want to have a look. And it shows a device that it honestly, it could be of RoboCop. For those of you
yeah.
who've never seen the film RoboCop, it looks like a glorified tractor tire, if that's the best way to describe it. And it's an AI driven tractor tire, but it's rounder and it has defense systems built in it. And it's supposed to aid the police and the security forces. It has a top speed of 35 kilometers per hour, which is
You can't
20
outrun it,
20. Yeah,
basically.
you can't outrun it, about 25 miles an hour. And it can go around and it helps the police. And if a perpetrator is identified, it will go after them. You can't outrun it. And it can shoot a net and it hasn't got the gun yet, but that's the next stage. And it does look like something from RoboCop, the film. If you haven't seen the film, please do so. You'll get the idea of what this is. But we will share it in the blurb of this episode, just for your benefit. So yeah, so you're right. That thing could be hacked.
Hmm.
If it is hacked, oh dear, you've let
Ah,
loose
oh
something.
dear.
I mean, there must be programmed in. You would have thought some fail safe to disable it, regardless that you can disable it.
Unfortunately, it was hacked by the guy who's got access to the failsafe. So let's crack on one because you're going to tell me any second now that we're coming to the end
No,
of
no,
this
we've
thing.
got a few minutes. We're
All
okay.
right.
We're
So the
okay.
next problem we have is this: the scale of scientific fraud. Now, do you remember the AI? The AI I was
Oh
talking
yes, we
to,
never even touched on that. Sorry.
the AI I was talking to earlier said that the danger in AI is that it's an amplifier. So when I asked about scientific the situation with science, it said, well, it started like this. It said, before AI, scientific publishing was riddled with fraud, plagiarism, and low quality papers that were being churned out only for career advancement. Now, those people who are on YouTube and know of this woman called Sabine, Sabine, Hossenfelder, Hossenfelder, Sabine Hossenfelder.
She's very
She's
good. Yeah,
she's
very
she's
good.
a science type person, and she went off a few months ago. She fell out of a tree. She was like, she's just read some papers and said, these papers are nonsense. This is and she's German, and I can't do the German accent because it's hilarious when the German says it like that. It's a load of nonsense or something. I wish I could do the accent. It was hilarious. Anyway, she was really like, "This no, where are we going with science, man?" And that was the first intimation I had that there was a problem with science. But asking AI, it said a 2022 analysis suggested that 20% of biomedical research papers contain fabricated or falsified data. 20%
Wow,
of biomedical. This is the serious stuff now. This is medicine. This, right?
that's not
And
good.
no, and I've got, by the way, I'm bringing receipts because I'm bringing a lot of links and whatnot. And it said, imagine the AI is helping that because it's an amplifier. So if you've
Yes.
got dishonest people, it will amplify. So it says AI is the accelerant, the money angle. It has become publishing scientific papers has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. Multi-billion-dollar industry. And here we go with the links, which I'm going to be sending to Tony shortly. A
Okay.
2021 Netherlands survey reported 4% admitting fabrication. This is anonymous, right? So anonymously, they repeat 4% in the Netherlands in 2021 admitted that they have fabricated data. Okay.
Okay. That's
However,
not good.
when asked about their colleagues,
Yeah.
the number jumped up to
Oh, so
11.
they knew that the colleagues had fabricated it.
Well, the point being, when you report yourself as 4%, when you report others as 11%. You understand? Yeah. Where the other 7% coming from? Like, come on.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So,
Wow. So
yes, wow.
11%, 1 in 10 is fabricated.
1 in 10 is fabricated. Okay.
Wow.
Biomedical research. Major company. So, should I send you links at the same time?
Yeah, let's
Biomedical.
send me the link. Send me because we want to add it into the blurb of the show. Absolutely.
So, sorry. Okay. So, one, what was I saying? There we go. Oh, code integrity. Yep. Anyway, biomedical research. Major companies like Amgen, I've never heard of them, AMGN, I don't know who they are, and Bayer, who I have heard
I've
of,
heard of Bayer, yes.
Bayer, could replicate only between 11 and 20% of preclinical studies. They weren't able
Gosh.
to replicate
Wow.
okay, 20%. Okay, let's take the lower number, 11%.
Yeah.
So 90% is what you can replicate. So 10% is just absolute nonsense.
Yeah, it's
You can't
nonsense. Yeah,
replicate,
yeah, yeah.
right? And then
Because it
this,
was baloney. It was
it
on
was
based
baloney, it
on
was
rubbish.
nonsense,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? Then you
See,
have
that
this.
wastes time for all these places. But the point is, isn't that going to be a what's the word I'm looking for? Self
Uh,
professing follow. No, I can't even
I know
say
what
it.
you're saying. I know what
Yeah.
you're saying.
In other words, the people who are churning out this stuff, are they
Self-fulfilling.
getting paid? Yes, it's self-fulfilling prophecy. The thing is, a lot of this stuff has to be corroborated, and companies like Bayer will then, and the like, will then have to invest time to verify what these claims are being made. And if they then can't replicate it, they know it's baloney. So they throw that out. I think that there has to be a change in the funding that only the money will be released, not on the time taken to produce this stuff, but only after it's been verified by a third party. Then you'll get your funding because that will quickly stop people churning this stuff out thinking they'll get a payday.
You didn't grow up in Nigeria, did you?
Go on. No, I
You
certainly
don't know.
didn't.
You don't know how corruption works. All you've done is you've made corruption more expensive, and you've raised the level at which it happens. The checkers will then become the ones to make the money. That's
I
that's how corruption
see.
works.
I see. So Bayer, in other words, would be paid. I will pass this for me, and they'll go,
Yes.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
right, I see. But at least that, okay, lowers the problem in terms of the number of instances of it being rubbish, because the bulk of the people who produce this material thinking it's a payday, they now have been excluded because the bar's been raised. So I get it. You're
They
never going
won't
to
be. They won't be
eliminate.
excluded. They'll just share. They'll just share their profits. So no one's going to be excluded. In fact, if you did that, the number of people being being found will drop, not because they're paying, not because they've decided to go straight. No, I'm sorry. This is one of the cases where you have to bring in the guillotine.
So
And
you
what
think that punitive measures are the only answer?
punitive measures which come out from the results of bad data. So when
Yeah.
someone dies because the medication didn't work, you can trace it back, and then there's no excuses. Everybody who touched that and passed it all along, like you put them up in front of their houses, you cut their heads off. The thing is, you only have to do it 2 3 times. And everybody goes, oh wow, okay, this isn't worth it, man. I'm telling you, sometimes
Okay.
Tyler's way is the best
Is
way.
the right way.
Now,
Interesting.
Wiley, Wiley, Wiley is a major publisher.
Of
It's
what?
closed of academic papers,
Okay.
or science papers, if you like. It closed 19 journals and retracted 11,000 papers in 2 years due
Because
to
of poor
fraud.
AI generated
Because of fraud.
content.
Fraud.
Wow.
And there's the link for you.
Okay, we'll put that in. I'm mindful we're getting to the top of the hour here, but I wanted
Can you
to,
imagine?
yeah, we are. I want to
No, I
mention
mean, can
something.
you imagine all this?
Well, I know it's incredible. It's incredible. At least there are starting to have some checks and balances. So it is redressing this stuff. Granted, maybe, there has to be tighter controls in some way, but at least there is something happening. See, we're not great initially, like we've said, but we can fix it eventually and when the need is there. So yeah, this problem's being rebalanced. AI is not gonna, going back to our main point,
Hmm.
is AI going to destroy us? I don't necessarily think so. I think it has to do with whether we can program it correctly, although there could be an accident that could be created based on poor programming. For instance, a pathogen that's deadly to us humans released accidentally by AI. So it's not a nuclear weapon or anything like that. Something which was slightly low level, which we gave AI the ability to manage, but because of our incompetence, that low level element became a bigger problem because we didn't foresee it being a bigger problem. But AI carried out the instructions, releases a pathogen by mistake, and that happens to kill loads and loads of people. So that I think is more likely rather than AI making the decision itself and saying, right, let's wipe out humans.
I don't think AI is going to be an agent of catastrophe in quite the same way that you're suggesting and you've been suggesting. I think AI is going to be the enabler of catastrophe. So it's a slight difference in the way that we're looking at it. You're looking at it as the agent or the cause of the thing. It triggers a world war. It does this. It releases a pathogen or whatever. No, I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it is the grease that lets us slide down the pole a lot quicker than we
Oh, I
would have
see.
otherwise. That's what I think.
Valid point. Valid point. Okay, unfortunately, we've got to the end of the show. Now, if you've loved this episode, please hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexplained twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tyre, and we are the TNT Talk Show, but unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.